Hi, I am Michelle Obama. I was born in Chicago, United States on January 17, 1964. I am lawyer, writer, and university administrator. I was the first lady of the United States from the 29th to 2070, and I was the first African American lady in the story of the country. And I'm going to tell about my book Becoming because I tell many stories about my life into the book. My book sold 2 million copies, and in 2080 I was bestseller for 2 weeks. Did not anticipate any of its good to know the books is resonating with so many different people. I think that was my hope all along that the story will connect with the people all over backgrounds all over the world. Well, I grew up with a disabled dad in a too small house with not much money and starting to fail the neighborhood. And I also grew up surrounded by love and music. In a diversity in a country where education can take for I had nothing or I had everything. It depends on which way you want to tell it. In this book, I read very personal things, and well, part of the thing was that it was going to tell my story because a lot of people are curious how did a girl working class, a kid from the south side of Chicago went up of the first lady with all the accomplishments that they had of and the thing about that it took well 8 years. Uh, the White House in the legs of part it doesn't really explain anything, so I felt I had to give people to connect of my life. I like to introduce them to the little girl Michelle Robinson and give them the sense of the what, dislikes, and the sounds of the little girl's life was like. How she played, how she was loved, how she interacted with the sound of hardships, uh, somehow of her feeling because I really don't think that that's how we get to know people. Too often we focus on what I call or stats, what the school did, you go to the what's your occupation, but the third is to really get to know people we have to go to deep into those stories. I feel that if I wanted people to get to know me, I had shared everything, so was part of the thinking, and that's really the way it lived in my life. I learned it on the campaign trial to law when I had to explain myself to predominantly white communities when I haven't been exposed to black folks, let alone tell black people name it Obama. And so I had to find out how to open myself up in a way the people could connect with my me and they be able to hear me. I also describe myself as to that a little girl when I was a young. I was very much in my head. I talk about how I played it with my dolls and I love to create this imaginary world and I could spend hours and just playing alone and thinking about this question. I think that because I spent so much time in my head before I was ready um, to get out there and interacted and I live it with the stories in my head. I could play a lot. So storytelling for my youth is why that I can start the world and have it make sense with always that way for me, even as a child. But the parenting really matters, and I try to share that with the audience that I talk to. We have to give our children the space to feed me and to be what they are, and as a mother, kids come here with their own personality. And my book, I thought about the one conversation I had with my mother where I was trying to break down how I wasn't passionate about my career. And I feel guilty talking to a woman who had sacrificed so much for me and probably never had the luxury of thinking about something as trivial as passion. You know, so explaining that at working class family, how you're going to walk away from a solid career and soil economy to purge what's deep in your heart. Uh, One of the first line of the first chapter equation that I hate really. The most that we ask our children what you want to be when you grow up. It's a ranking up. It's infinity. If you get to a place and at some point that's the and that the story of one of our big dilemmas that we ask kids so early to figure out how you're going to be at 5 and 7 and even 20 years old. So I encourage young people to be open to the subject and to be themselves up if they feel that they have maybe not made the right first choice because life is long and you know we can't have many lives waiting on life. We are always evolving. That is why I call the book Becoming. This notion that we ever stop evolving is just ground. In the book, I also speak that while building my incredible career, you were put me shark an interning man, among what I describe as a unicorn, a strange mix of everything mad, an exotic gift, and fair to say it was by means fall love at first like your words, but I did become loved for the rest of my life. But it's difficult because the love you feel for a partner it involved and had so many different layers. Right? It's the first love you feel when you're giddy and you're falling and it's new and exciting and every aspect of that person is fresh. That's the part of the love that's always there. This is sort of compelling of the each other and that was what frustrated Turek was so different from you know. He had served his whole life. And in a book I tell you about I did not want this great love not to run to presidency. And finally, many people say I am a role model for women and I would like to know that it is. Um, Thanks. Bye.